Tadhg, you've had a chance to look at the video of the game last weekend. You've had some kind of discussions amongst yourselves in terms of your area of expertise, the scrum. How did you feel that went, and what areas do you feel you can improve on for this weekend?
In areas in the scrum?
Yeah.
Probably was average, I would have said. So I think we coughed up 3 there in the game. So obviously, look, it's a big area, and it's an area we're I suppose looking at and trying to get better in, as always.
Is that down to yourselves, or is it referee interpretation, or is it a mixture of both of us?
Yeah, look, it's probably a little bit of both. But I think as a group we put it on ourselves, and just try to take care of what we can take care of, and get better for it, you know.
Paul spoke Sunday about the line-out. He said he didn't think that was great. I know that's a collective not greatness, so to speak. Is that something that you spoke specifically about?
Yeah, like set piece is so big, isn't it, in the modern game, and you know, probably at both counts we probably didn't get what we wanted out of it. So you know, we just spent a lot of time on it this week. Obviously, we have that little bit more of it's a standard week for us. We don't have 2 games in it, so just putting the time in and getting about our work.
Do you feel that the energy level is bigger this week, you know, given the fact you haven't had to travel an extra game in the middle of the week?
No, I think we arrived with plenty of time. We all got in the week before the test on the Wednesday, so no, I don't think that's an issue. I think the lads are, you know, we're obviously it's tough for some of the lads backing up, but most of the starters didn't. So I think, you know, just I can't use that as an excuse, if you know what I mean. So I think energy levels are good, and I suppose it's all on the line this weekend, you know.
It's an indoor track, so there's going to be no rain, no conditions. It's slightly surreal, but it's the same for both teams.
Yeah. I was there in 2017. I didn't play, but I remember watching the game. It's a cool stadium, isn't it? And obviously with the roof on, you know, it's not huge by numbers, but I remember the atmosphere there was electric down there for that game. So I can't wait to go down.
And in terms of last weekend, do you feel that there's an awful lot more in the locker from an Irish point of view?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. It's not easy though, you know. It's not Test match rugby, and it's Test match rugby, and you can't always get it your own way. So I suppose it's just trying to put your best foot forward and try execute and try to put what you're working out in the training pitch out there, you know.
And just mentioning execution, I mean, you created quite a few try-scoring opportunities, certainly in both matches. The one you were involved in last weekend that you didn't take. Do you have to be more clinical, or even in terms of this weekend?
Yeah, it's a huge part of the game, you know. And you see the All Blacks when they got a few chances, you know, first phase, second phase, gone. Good luck, 7 points. So, you know, it's a massive part of the game, and being clinical with the opportunity you get, because it is Test match rugby, and you know, it's hard to create opportunities, and so when you get them, it's important you take.
Thank you.
No problem.
What have the last couple of days been like in reviews and trying to work out what to do this weekend?
Yeah, look, to be fair, Monday or Sunday was off, and I suppose try to refresh yourself. And yesterday we would have had a lighter day, just a thinking day, getting around in small groups, having chats, and seeing what we can fix up. And obviously we're throwing that into pitch today and push it on again tomorrow.
How unique is it to be facing the All Blacks again? Test 2 of a 3-game series, which doesn't happen much these days.
Yeah, that hasn't happened obviously in the last few years either, with obviously COVID in the middle. I think Ireland's last 3 test tours to Africa, am I right in saying that? Australia 18, South Africa 17. Yeah, so it seems like a long time. It's a first time for a lot of players in the squad, or a good chunk of them anyway, to go on a 3 test tour. So it's great, and that's what we're here for. And it's we're here to learn, and obviously we have 2 Maori games there as well.
Similarities to the Lions tour this time around for you guys?
Yeah, last week definitely felt like a Lions week. Obviously with the 2 squads, and you know, just having to adapt and putting the head down and get on with it, and trying to make the best of whatever situation you're in, no excuse kind of mentality. So it did definitely feel a bit like a Lions tour week.
speaking of which, Kiwis always like a bit of crack, as you guys put it. I think that's the proper pronunciation. Have you faced much of that from Kiwi fans the last couple of weeks?
No, I've been mad surprised really about how many kind of Kiwis you meet with Irish heritage. Even in the stuff at the gym we're in there, and people coming up and talking to you, and obviously very, very knowledgeable about the rugby. And what's really surprised me how many kind of grandparents or great grandparents or heritage there is.
They're asking for tickets.
Hasn't been too bad for tickets. Bundy Aki's just absolutely hoovered everything up. So even if they're looking for him, I wouldn't have him.
Do you have anyone over from home?
No one travelled this time around.
How are you feeling mentally, physically? Like, looking
Good.
at the season, when you think back to the Lions tour this time last year, like, wrecked or anything?
Not wrecked, kind of comes and goes. Really, we would have had a break before we came on tour, and obviously when you're, a different environment, different stimulus, you pick up. I suppose we're very well looked after in terms of a player group in Ireland. We still play a lot of games, but it's, in comparison, you're not flogged, for the lack of a better word. So, I think everyone's is holding up. Yeah, there's a few knocks and niggles in the squad. Of course, there is at the end of a season, but I think energy-wise and motivational-wise, everyone's pretty good.
How's the coffee?
I haven't tasted yet.
Oh, sorry.
It's supposed to be good. It's supposed to be good.
My name's Narelle from New South. Nice to meet you.
How are you now?
Thank you. What improvements do you think that the All Blacks will make this weekend?
It was their first hit out in a long time, wasn't it? So obviously they had disruption in their camp last week. We see them try out, I suppose, a small bit different face shape, hitting that third man and playing out the back of it. And so I'm sure it's just about getting a little bit more familiarity with that. Obviously, it'd be great for him to, if I was in their camp, getting that first hit out. Obviously, some of them haven't played since Super Rugby, the final, etc., and they're all coming in, COVID and camp management out. So I'm sure they'll be working hard. It's hard to second guess what they'll do, but I'm sure just getting a bit more synchronised within it all.
Sam Whitelock is out this week. What does that change for you guys?
Not a massive amount for us, because I suppose we still have to try to look after our own stuff as best we can. But from an all-back point of view, he's such an influential player for them, especially a lot around line-out time, contact time, etc. You saw him at that third playmaker role a few times actually at the weekend. So I don't doubt the All Blacks squad. They have plenty of people there, and quality and depth. But he's obviously an unbelievably experienced rugby player.
Is this an easier test to prepare for, knowing that the conditions, I guess, in Dunedin will be fine and dry?
Yeah, but we're from Ireland, so we're pretty used to rain, hail, snow, and sunshine. And 5 minutes later, so in some ways yes, in some ways no. Yeah.
Tadhg, can I ask you just about Greg Feek? All Black scrum coach, former scrum coach, former Leinster scrum coach. What kind of a person he is, what he demands from a player, regardless of who he's coaching, and the influence he's had in your career.
Yeah, he's obviously had a huge influence on me. He's kind of like Papa Scrums to me, really, because obviously I would have come in through Leinster. He was scrum coach in Leinster, transitioned through scrum coach in Ireland. So I suppose he's put a big body of work into, I suppose, me through developmental years, etc., etc. So obviously I have a huge amount of respect for him, and would share, through knowing the man and being taught by him and discussions with him, a lot of the same kind of ideological ideas around the scrum.